Our next speaker is Jonathan Reichental, who is the Chief Information Officer in Palo Alto, which is a city across the bay. I think there's another university there. And he focuses on modernizing the available technology environment, and also I'm very interested in his work on trying to increase political participation through mobile apps.
Thank you very much. So the first thing I'm going to do is say hi to my dad. Every time I do a presentation that's either videoed or streamed, it's a tradition now that I say hi to him. He's thousands of miles away, and he gets a big kick out of that. So hello, Dad. That's my first thing. Thanks for inviting me. I always enjoy being here. Thanks, Camille, very much for making me part of this. Last time I came here, I was like about 1 minute before my presentation. I was running from the parking lot. I was sweating up here, not because I was nervous, but because I was just really hot. So, and it was late and all that. So today I came nice and early, and I'm all organized this time. So a little bit about me. I hate to disappoint, but I'm not a sort of older, boring public official. I hope I'm representative of a new generation of city leaders. I come from the private sector after about 20 years, and I thought I'd give public sector a go. And so far, so good. Having a lot of fun. And there's no better place to do it than here in Silicon Valley and here in Palo Alto. So how did we arrive at open data? Real quick. I don't have a big presentation. I just want to share a couple ideas with you. When our city manager was trying to think of a theme about 2 years ago for the city, each year we have a different type of theme, and a technology theme. He said, he brought me into his office and said, Jonathan, I think we should have mobile as a theme. And I said, that's a good one. And in early 2012, that was certainly and continues to be a big part of our technology profile and technology future. But I said, there's something much bigger. You know, to me, in a way, mobile just feels like the outcome of another type of technology, and that's data. Mobile being a subset. If we get data right, and we use the one thing government has an abundance of, which is data, if we do it right, we can do all the things we want to do. Create efficiencies, lower cost, create great apps for communities. And I said, by the way, there's a name for it. They call it open data, opening it up. And he said, Jonathan, that sounds great. I have no idea what you're talking about, but let's give it a shot. Today, 2 years later, he knows exactly what we're talking about. And so do a lot of our city leaders and our community. So before I get to what we've done with open data, I wanted to kind of tie it together with this broader topic of ethics and the ethics of issues that are at play here in open data. I want to talk about technology in general. I want to talk about the amazing world in which we live today, that you're all part of and you all recognize, I believe. If we look at the course of technology over the last 40 years, information technology, we've been subjected to this notion of what's called Moore's Law. And I'll screw it up here, but I'll give you the general sense of it. Your technology, every couple of years or 18 months, will double in its capability and it'll be about half the price. And if you know about sort of the impact of doubling something, it doesn't just grow sequentially, it grows exponentially. So what you would imagine is if 40 years ago we kind of got into the heat of Moore's Law, every few years the amount of innovation, the amount of technology would be increasingly exponential year over year. And it looks a little bit like a J-curve. So you have about 30 years of cool stuff like calculators, fax machines, file services, client server environments. Suddenly in the 90s you have the internet, then we have mobile, we have cloud. And doesn't it feel like it's happening faster and faster? Well, that's because it is. And if you think of the J-curve and where we're at in 2013, we're about to completely go up the straight part of it. That means in the next 5 to 10 years, technology will transform more than it has in the history of mankind. People ask me, because of my role, and because I might have an opinion on it, where do I think technology is going? I actually don't have any clue. And none of us do. What's going to happen in the next few years will blow us all away. So I share that with you not just because it's fascinating. I find it fascinating. I hope you do too. But because we'll be in a world within a few years where when we think of something, we can do it. Right? It's always been the idea was greater than our capability to do it. Right? We're going to enter a world in which, if we have a great idea like driving cars or self-driving cars, for example, we may just be able to do it. And increasingly, that'll be the case. So the issues in the future of technology actually won't be technology. The issues will be ethical, entirely 100% ethical. Just because we can do something doesn't mean we should do it. And as a technologist, a computer scientist as I am, that's what I'll be facing. It won't be, can we do this great thing? And so when I think of things like open data and what we're going to enable, today you've talked about, I think, the entire gamut of open data and data as an enabler of great government. But I think we're going to be talking more and more about ethics. I think this is going to be the heart of the topic as we go forward. So, with that, hopefully that was interesting. What are we doing in Palo Alto? Well, we're doing open data. We're doing it in practice. I'm all for concepts and theory, but I spend most of my time in practice, doing stuff, actually doing it and seeing what happens. If I debated it with my colleagues, we would never do it. And sometimes you just have to go ahead and try it, do it in a measured, managed way, and react to feedback and adjust accordingly. So we've opened up a number of data sets. We've done some easy ones, census data, tree data. Palo Alto reveres our trees, as you can imagine. Permit data. We have our development services director here who has worked closely with me on releasing what people really want to see, which is near real-time permit data. We've released budget information. And it wasn't just raw data. We made the data available in its raw format, but also in a way in which community members could understand it. And so we visualized it. And we've won a whole lot of awards for that. And now we're opening up our geospatial information in a completely transparent way. And so we'll continue to do that. Soon we'll open up our 311 data so people can analyze that and work with it. So people ask me, I'll wrap up here. You know, they want to ask all the time, what's the ROI? You know, why are you doing this? How can it be sustained? I think that question's too early. Actually, I think that's a little premature. Right now, we're just at the beginning, right at the beginning. And to me, it's more of a responsibility. I think we should do it because it's the right thing to do. Not because we should have a business case or completely locked down, this is what we'll save or this is what we'll gain in terms of monetary revenue to the city or otherwise. We should do it because it's the right thing to do. We have an obligation to do that. So with that, I'm going to conclude. Thanks very much. And I look forward to chatting more about it.